Did you know Microsoft has officially ended support for Windows 10? Upgrade to Windows 11 with an LG Gram laptop. Voted PC Mag's Reader's Choice Top Laptop Brand for 2025. Thin and ultra lightweight, the LG Gram keeps you productive anywhere. And Windows 11 gives you access to free security updates and ongoing feature upgrades. Visit lgusa.com/iHeart for great seasonal savings on LG Gram laptops with Windows 11. PC Mag Reader's Choice used with permission. All rights reserved.
Hello, Weekly Tears. Tag and Teresa here. We are off for this week, but we wanted to give you something to listen to going into the new year. So we found an interview that we had quite a while ago.
Yeah, so we thought it'd be really fun since, right, this year Disneyland is celebrating its 70th anniversary. Why not go back in time, back to September 2018 when we first talked with Lynn about what it was like for Disneyland's 50th anniversary.
All right, well, this week, since we're celebrating our 50th episode, we thought it'd be a good opportunity to talk about the 50th anniversary celebration at Disneyland back in 2005. Well, what better way to start off the conversation than to talk to someone who worked there during the celebration? Lynn Barron. Welcome, Lynn.
Hey, thanks for having me.
Well, as you guys probably already know, Lynn is the co-author of the book Cleaning the Kingdom and hosts the Sweep Spot podcast with his co-author, Ken Pellman. So what we usually do in the beginning when we have any guest on the show is we like to kind of hear your Disney backstory. So a lot of us already know that you spent some time actually working there, but what made you first fall in love with Disney and Disneyland?
I think just growing up in Southern California, it was something that we did as a family every year.
Sure.
I mean, although we only lived, 20 miles away, we only went once, maybe twice a year. And then growing up as a teenager, became an annual pass holder. And then I was there so much later after I graduated that my mom said, you're there so much, you might as well, go there and work. So,
might as well get paid to be there, right?
Exactly, yeah.
Smart lady.
Yeah, but I've always appreciated the history. Like when I went, it wasn't just let's go on all the fast rides or let's do that. It was just, I always appreciated the atmosphere and what it was.
It is very neat. It's very magical to be there, not just because of the magic that they put on there, but just, you're right, the history and just everything that goes into it is just amazing.
Mm-hmm.
Now, one thing that I was just thinking about, because as we said at the beginning here, you actually worked at the resort during the 50th anniversary celebration. What's funny is I was there for the 50th anniversary celebration, so I feel like I might have seen you and just not even known it.
Probably, yeah.
So before we get into specifics of the 50th, kind of for people who may not know, kind of what did you do at the Disneyland Resort, and like kind of when did you start, and what kind of roles did you go through there?
I went through 2 different times that I worked there. I was in foods like a busser at the Plaza Inn, and there was a restaurant called the Plaza Pavilion that was over where the Jolly Holiday Bakery is. And I bussed tables there, and that was for 2 years as a part-time. And then I actually got fired for my attendance, but I was at that time I was only like 20 years old, and I just didn't really didn't know what I was doing and what I wanted to do. But then I came back in 1998, and that was when I started in custodial, and I worked there until 2007.
Now, when you came back, did you want to work in custodial, or did they kind of just throw you where they needed you?
Yeah, I asked for custodial because my wife actually had a friend that was in custodial, and she said it was the best because you got to walk around, you got to work in different locations every day. And so I said, okay, I'll do that. So
awesome.
See, I could understand that. So we had another person that was a former cast member. He was at Walt Disney World, though, and he worked at Space Mountain primarily. And I said I'd have such a hard time with that because I don't think I could sit there watching everybody board this attraction that I was not allowed to go on with them. So I think I'd have to be with you and have to be kind of wandering around.
Right.
I think listening to your podcast, Lynn, you guys have talked about stories of being able to go, in certain backstage areas that a lot of people, a lot of nerds anyway, would give their left arm to be able to go and experience some of these places. I can't remember if it was you or Ken would talk about how like you could go in the backstage areas with Pirates of the Caribbean, for example.
Yeah, we both had those chances to do that.
So you worked there for a few years before the 50th anniversary. So what kind of changes when you were a cast member there kind of led up to the 50th anniversary celebration?
That's a good question. I'm glad you mentioned that, because the park, it was really busy. I mean, we had the Moulin Parade going on the summer I showed up, and there was the new Tomorrowland that had like the rocket rods and all the changes there. So it was very popular. I mean, it was crowded, but at the same time, the park was being neglected in other ways as far as maintenance, painting, just the way that, the castle is so faded, and things that maybe regular guests may not have noticed, but and you're there, just comparing it over the years, you can tell that things were starting to. There were some managers there that was that's a whole. You could read about it. We have a chapter about it at the end of our book, but there were some bad decisions made and some things going on. So in 2003, they brought in a new Disneyland president. That was Matt Ouimet, and assistant.
This guy was a rock star.
Greg Immers. Yeah, I know. He came in there and just cleaned that place up, and they painted everything. I mean, everything. The castle was repainted, all the shops, and he and that was they brought him in for that reason, and he did a really good job.
Yeah, I remember leading up to the 50th anniversary because this was a year or two after I started getting annual passes, to go to the park, because at the time they were actually fairly affordable, not like now. But and I remember thinking that there was a lot of stuff that was run down and things were faded and things were chipping. And of course, with the advent of the internet, everybody goes online, and any little thing you see that's out of place or out of whack, they're going to complain about. And you still have that today. In a way, I think it's good because it does hold them accountable to, Disney put themselves in this position to have a premium product, and so they got to keep it a premium product.
Yeah.
And so, I remember when they announced that Matt Ouimet was going to come in, and I just remember that like the whole place was just covered in scrims and tarps and everything. Like everything was, just like you said, everything was getting overhauled.
Right.
Hey, well, if it needed it, that's what you got to do.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And just in time too, if I remember right, like it was down to the wire getting all that stuff completed.
Oh yeah. And it was something that customers, we kept hearing about, this was going down for this or that. And just the hype and the talk about the 50th coming up, was just exciting to see happen.
How did you feel being able to have the opportunity to be there for its 50th anniversary?
I knew that it was significant, that would be historical an event, because the next big one like that would be 100, so I don't know.
Right, yeah.
I know I wouldn't make that one. But, well, maybe, you never know, but that's 40 years from now.
I was going to say, you wouldn't be able to experience it the same way for sure.
Right.
Yeah.
I wouldn't be working there. Yeah, but everyone kind of had that sense that this is something big and this is historical, and we're part of it.
That's so awesome. So tell us about, were you a part? So I don't know if our listeners know this, but the day before the celebration started for the 50th, they actually closed Disneyland to the public so that they can kind of get everything ready. Were you a part of that preparation on May 4th of 2005?
I was. And they closed it, but there was it was kind of a media, like a sneak peek for some of the media that day. And so there was stuff going on. We were doing a lot of extra cleaning, little detail stuff, but there was that. And then they did some filming for some things that day. It wasn't the big ceremony that they had later, but they were doing some filming, and probably for commercials, I would assume, to get ready for the whole thing. But the hotel guests that were staying during that time period on that night, they were allowed to go into the park and be a part of that film.
Oh, that's cool.
Yeah.
I did not know that.
That's really interesting. So, the big day, May 5th, the official opening and
I was there.
kickoff for the party. Were you working that day, or were you attending as a guest? I
was
feel like you
working.
had to be there one way or another, right?
Yeah, I was working. I was trying to remember because it's all kind of getting blurry. So they did the big event was the one they did in front of the castle, I believe.
Yep.
Yep, it looks like it officially began with a dedication from the then Disney CEO, which was Michael Eisner. And it looks like there was fireworks, speeches from Julie Andrews. She was actually the official ambassador for the 50th celebration. Art Linkletter, which was one of the original anchors for the opening day broadcast. Looks like there was all sorts of big names there. Christina Aguilera, Leanne Rimes.
Well, yeah, I mean, it's Disneyland. It's the first theme park ever.
Yeah.
I'd be there if I could. I mean, I was there, but I mean, like, if I was a celebrity, I'd try to be there.
So tell us about your experience with that day. Were you amidst all the chaos, or were you in some quiet corner of the park where you didn't have to deal with all of the madness?
I was right in the middle. So during that ceremony that you've probably seen on YouTube or wherever, off to the right of the castle is where we were kind of staged, because as soon as it ended, there was confetti, everything,
sure.
And then and they had chairs set up for all the people that were invited in front of the castle on the kind of like the street, like where the trolley goes. They had all these chairs and people set up there and cameras and everything. And so as soon as it ended, we were told to go over there and start cleaning up. So I was part of that whole thing.
Happy 50th birthday. Now, go clean up all this mess we just made.
Yeah, as I saw the confetti falling massively, I thought, oh boy, there we go.
You're like, oh man. Yeah. I hope you guys got good photos.
Yeah, right. It looks like it was staged pretty nice, actually. I'm looking at a pretty widescreen shot of it right now. It looks pretty cool. And, the castle was just gorgeous for the 50th anniversary. They really cleaned it up and made it look really tasteful. I mean, the crowns maybe were a little much, but otherwise, I think the gold accents and stuff were very nice. I was disappointed. I know that this is talking about the 50th anniversary, not the 60th, but I was a little disappointed by the 60th castle transformation. It wasn't exactly my favorite decoration of the castle.
No. Yeah.
So, thinking back to the 50th anniversary, what are some things that really stuck out to you during that time frame of the park?
I can't think of any particular moment, but just the whole thing in general with what was going on and the extra crowds that we had. And for the cast members, they were, we had gold name tags that they had made up for us. And I was looking at it right now. I was trying to figure out. They had our hometown because, it's called the Homecoming. Yeah. So it was for the first time ever we had our city and our state, where we came from.
Yeah, so that kind of continues to today, doesn't it? Have they started kind of keeping with that, or?
I think they do. I think they still have that today, but it started with that.
Yeah, I forgot that it was the happiest homecoming. I forgot that was the little slogan that kind of went along with it. But I remember liking how classy all the stuff looked. They made the gold stuff look really nice, and along with the deeper blue was nice, and the name tags looked great. And then, of course, it was fun. They added a bunch of stuff. I mean, they still kind of do some of this stuff for some, Easter and stuff, but they had the 50 Mickey ears that were all over the park that you had to go find. Mm-hmm. And then, of course, all of the original attractions had a gold-painted one of the ride vehicles.
Oh, cool.
And then were those also the ones that were, sat out? Because I was reading, and I can't remember specifics off the top of my head right now.
So I have a list here. If you
Perfect.
Teresa loves lists.
I do.
Oh, good. Some of the attractions only had a displayed. Now I could be wrong on some of this, but so the carousel, Jingles, the horse. That that he was painted gold, the whole entire thing. Then they had a Dumbo. They had a display one that was off kind of near. That little pathway in between Casey Jr. and Dumbo, that backside. They had a display one where you could get in and have your photo taken, and then they had one on the ride itself that was painted gold. And many of these did that, like the teacups. They had the display teacup over near that hat shop there.
I thought the teacup one was cool because my friend Laura, she doesn't like going on the teacups because it makes her nauseous. But it was nice that she could get a picture, like a nice photo opportunity with a teacup, but without actually having to be on it.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
And I think they had that teacup on display for a while. I don't know if it's still, but not the gold one.
There is one still on display, but I think it's. I feel like it's either blue or pink.
But they won't be doing it for much longer because they're ripping out stuff for walkways. That'll be one of the first things that goes.
I know, huh? Storybook, canal boats. They had that lighthouse that used to be the old ticket. Used to sell tickets out of. You know?
Oh, yes.
That was gold.
Wow.
Gold stripes.
Oh yeah, I actually had forgotten about that.
And one of the boats were gold too. Peter Pan had a display one, and they probably had a ride vehicle one that was gold too. I don't remember seeing it. Snow White just had above, like where it says Snow White's Scary Adventures up on top. That was kind of a gold. They didn't have a vehicle.
Gotcha.
And Jungle Cruise had one gold boat.
Oh, that's
really
cool.
See. I don't remember that one either.
The Mark Twain had gold on certain parts of it, like the smokestacks,
which looked amazing.
Yeah. The horse-drawn cars. There was one whole vehicle that was gold, like the horses pull.
Oh yeah, okay.
The Main Street Cinema on Main Street had just the sign above it. They had like some gold drapery on it.
Okay.
Oh, I missed one in Fantasyland. Mr. Toad had a display one.
Oh, sure.
Front. And Casey Jr., their train, they had it all gold. And Autopia had a display and a ride vehicle. So those were the opening ones.
Yeah, I thought that was cool that they kind of did that because it kind of, really paid homage to the original attractions that were there when the park opened. Because I feel like if you're a casual Disneyland visitor, you don't really know that.
Right.
So it's nice to kind of have these little touches that people can kind of learn the history behind it because, like you said, Lynn, you like the history behind all the stuff. So for you, this was probably like a dream come true, seeing all this like history brought back up. And
oh, yeah. It was fun. They did a lot of extra stuff that really made it feel special. They did the mosaics.
I do remember the mosaics. I don't remember a lot of specifics.
So it was, you can submit your photos of times like your family at Disneyland or whatever. And cast were actually encouraged to do that too. And then because they didn't get so many, they started using like cast member, like our ID pictures like on the things. But those would be displayed throughout the park, like in just various locations, and not just Disneyland. They had those over at California Adventure too.
Yeah, because this was like nowadays. Sometimes they'll have those big cutout display photo pass spots. It was kind of like that, but with a mosaic, right?
Yeah.
If I remember right, yeah. Because the only thing that sticks out to me mosaic wise is the video that Steve Martin did in the Opera House. Had at the end was a bunch of people's pictures from Disney that made like it made the castle at the end of that video, which I also thought that was good. I like the fact that Steve Martin worked at the magic shop in Disneyland, and I thought his storytelling about the park and everything was really good. So I'm like you, I like the history, so I'm really glad that they kind of had that.
Yeah,
and seeing all the cool stuff like the old ticket books and stuff that I never got to see.
Yeah, they did a lot of different things. They'd had, of course, the new fireworks show, the Remember Dreams Come True.
Oh, yes, Tag's favorite.
Yeah, that was awesome.
That is my favorite. That is my favorite fireworks show because, so it's kind of, I've said this on the show before, but I don't know if you heard it, but basically I was there. We arrived on the 4th of May because we wanted to make sure we'd be in on the 5th right away. So we had tickets that day. We went to California Adventure, which is the day we realized, because California Adventure did not have a lot of the stuff it has now.
Oh.
So we realized halfway through the day that there's not anything to do in California Adventure. But I digress. we knew that night that they were probably going to show the fireworks off, but we weren't going to be able to be in the park. So we actually went. We were in the we were in the Esplanade, I believe, and we were watching the fireworks because they did test run the fireworks, and you could kind of hear the music, but not great, and you obviously couldn't see anything on the castle or anything. But I just remember being so excited because the whole idea of e-tickets in the sky just blew my mind. The fact that they were going to do this. So then when I actually got to see it, I thought it was just amazing. And even now, I still think it's the best fireworks show that any of the Disney parks have put on that I've seen. The only thing that I would say, well, the other thing is I went to Disney World, and everybody's been talking about Wishes and how great Wishes was, and Wishes is the best fireworks ever. Well, I watched Wishes, and it's not a bad show, but it just wasn't the level of spectacle that Remember Dreams Come True was.
No.
And so I was telling people, I said, once Disney World gets a fireworks show that has projections and all that with it, then you'll understand. And now they have the, I can't remember what it's called out in Magic Kingdom.
Yeah, I don't know.
I don't know either.
But they have the new one that has
Disney
projections.
World. This is Disneyland.
Well, I'm just saying they have this new one, and it was really good. So, When's the last time you were at the park, Lynn?
Last July. Yeah, just about. A
couple
Just
months
over
ago.
a year ago.
Yeah.
Or a year and a couple months ago.
Oh no, just a couple months ago.
Oh, so you went for Pixar Fest?
Yeah, I was there for that. Yeah.
How was it?
It was okay. It was good. It was. I mean, I think it was just a little. I mean, something like a quick thing they did that they needed something for the summer, to do.
Yeah.
But I didn't think it was. I mean, they could have done better, but I thought it was good for what it was. I mean, most of it seemed like food.
Lots of food.
Well, it seems like they've been really emphasizing food lately, and I know that on the show we've been talking a lot about the food because I just feel like I don't know what happened in the last, I'd say, like 3 to 5 years, but I feel like whoever they have that's running the kitchens there really kicked it up a notch because for a while there, I thought the food was kind of going downhill. And I didn't think. I mean, even at places that, like, even at like the Blue Bayou, where you expect to have good food, I went there and ate a few years ago, and I just didn't think it was that great. I was really disappointed.
Yeah,
but then the last time I went, it was great, and it seems like people are really enjoying the food now. So, and they're making money hand over fist.
I think they're finding that other, like Universal, other places are starting to really step it up too, which is good because then it makes everyone step it up. So
yeah. So do you think that the 50th anniversary kind of kicked off the park being like the popularity of the park? Do you think it really increased the popularity of the park? Because I feel like that's about the time when it seemed like the crowds seemed to start amping up and it started that kind of no off-season feel.
Yeah, to me, it kind of felt like a reboot, kind of like a renewal, like start over from its decline. We had some accidents and things that had happened, unfortunately, and then it was sort of like this reboot. We're going to clean it up, and here it is, and it felt good, and that's the way it felt being there, being a part of it too. It just kind of felt with the new management. Matt was great, just really friendly, always coming up to us and saying hi and talking to us. And the whole thing just felt refreshing. And
what's amazing to me is that reboot has been, what do we say, 13 years ago, and still the park is just booming. And it's amazing to think that all started for the 50th.
Yeah, I think it did. The amount of, the people that I have so many opinions on. The amount of people that are there is just ridiculous now, and there isn't an off season. And I remember as soon as summer ended, Labor Day, it just, hours went down for cast members. Things got slow. It was nice because we had worked so hard and it was so crowded during the summer. It was like a breath of fresh air to kind of slow down. And, talking to friends that work there now they just say, yeah, that never happens. So I don't know, adding Star Wars Land to an already overcrowded park was the best idea, but it will add more acreage, so maybe be spread out a little more. I'm trying to think positively because I really wanted them to do a third park and not have Star Wars Land there, but too late. Yeah.
That would have really been ideal if that just would have been separate. Or maybe put it over in California Adventure. I don't know where. Put it over there because I feel like you're right. Disneyland itself, there isn't an off season anymore. It's just lots of crowding.
Yeah.
And lots of people. And plus, there's just tons and tons of attractions crammed into such a little area, which is awesome for me, the park goer. But yeah, it'll be interesting to see what happens when they open up Galaxy's Edge. I'm a little sad that they're taking away my planters, though. I don't know if you've heard me talking about this.
I did, yeah.
And it's not just the fact that it was that single planter. The thing that I really loved about the area and just the whole park in general is that there was so many different green aspects of it. There were trees. There were, you go over to Universal and it's just concrete. And it's just not interesting to look at. So it's sad to me that they're taking that away.
Even California Adventure's that way too.
Yeah.
There's just a lot of concrete, not a lot of shade, which in the Southern California weather, you need some shade.
Yeah.
Okay, so another question we ask all of our guests, all of our guests. And so when you go into the park, when you go into Disneyland, which direction do you go? Do you go left into Adventureland? Do you go right into Tomorrowland? Do you go forward into Fantasyland? Where do you go?
Yeah, we always try to go to the left because she likes going through the left tunnel. But the right one, like you said, depending on where you're in line to get in, couldn't determine that too. I don't know. It's been various. But as far as what you were saying, the first question, we always go to the left to Adventureland or Frontierland. My son is a huge Big Thunder fan, so that seems to be the first one a lot of times.
You gotta do that
good
first.
attraction.
Your favorite attraction first. There's something about that. It's just so satisfying, especially when you don't have to wait in the line. You can just walk right on.
Yes.
Depends on when you, right? Are you talking like when a park first opens?
Yeah.
Yeah. Yep.
Because Indy would be a good choice because that line fills up fast.
It does. In fact, when I was just there in the spring, so it was in May, that's usually what I try to do. I go right to Indiana Jones first. And the line was backed almost all the way up to, it was past the Jungle Cruise queue area. And I was like, what is this? This never happens. Usually you can just, zip right on there. But apparently everybody else has figured it out.
Well, some people were complaining, I saw online recently that people were complaining that sometimes Indy isn't open when the park first opens because they keep having problems. It needs to go down for an extensive refurbishment, and it just hasn't.
Yeah, I noticed that too. Sometimes it'll be a delayed opening, and at that point, you just go Big Thunder or Pirates or Mansion or something over on that side. You can go on Splash first thing. Most of the time, though, the last few times we had tried that, they will say, "Do you want to ride again?" But usually we're soaking wet, and we're like, "No." But yeah.
What's your favorite attraction in the park, Lynn?
Pirates of the Caribbean was an obvious one over the past few years, but I'm not real fond of some of the changes recently.
Sure.
Without getting all political, but I appreciate what they did and the reasoning and all that with the redhead, but I just don't like that scene as much anymore.
You miss the original redhead.
I do.
That's okay.
I do. And I don't like as much of the Johnny Depp. I think there was a time for that, but I think it's time to kick him out. But
Off with his head.
Yeah, but Haunted Mansion, I would say, is a real strong second.
We have one last question for you, Lynn. Again, another one that we ask all of the guests that come on the show.
Okay.
So, if you were to work at Disneyland again, what position or what area would you want to choose? And sky's the limit, so you could even be the CEO if you really wanted to. So what would you choose?
Oh boy. Well, yeah, I wouldn't want to say CEO because I don't know, it seems unrealistic, but I know what you're saying.
Also a lot of stress.
Yeah, more money, but yeah, more stress. Man, that is hard.
Was there any position when you were there that you always kind of looked at like, man, I need that job?
Maybe the tour guides, because
that is a cool one.
Yeah, but then they rotate, because then sometimes they'll be working in City Hall and then they hear all the complaints. So
it's not always a cakewalk.
Actually, I know now. I would be, because I play drums. I've semi-professional. I played a long time. I would want to be a musician there. Yes.
That's good. We've not had anyone say that. I like that.
Anywhere in particular?
New Orleans Square.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Would there be any other place tag? Come
Main
on.
Street. You could play on Main Street.
Oh, yeah, Main Street.
Yeah, or Tomorrowland.
Lynn, thanks for joining us this week and talking about your experience with the 50th anniversary. And for anybody who's interested in hearing more of you, where can people hear more about you or read about you? Or
You can, for everything, you pretty much go to our website, www.thesweepspot.com, and that has all the information there. You can buy our book, Queening the Kingdom, there. And our Queen of the Kingdom is also on audio book through Audible or Amazon or iTunes, Kindle version of the book too. So, yeah.
It's a great book. We highly, highly, highly recommend reading it.
even even a good dog treat, apparently.
Yes. Well,
Great.
thank you again so much for your time, Lynn. We appreciate it.
Thank you for having me.
Well, that was a great interview talking with Lynn and his experience about being there on the 50th anniversary and kind of remembering what it was like for me to be there on the 50th anniversary as well.
Do you want to know what's super fun? Fun fact. This episode was actually our 50th episode. So for DL Weekly's 50th, we celebrated and took a look back for Disneyland's 50th.
I think it was one of like our first like themed
Yeah.
like episodes.
Lynn was one of our first ever like celebrity guests.
It was a big
And
deal
now
to get
we've
him on there.
become
Yeah.
such great friends with Lynn. So it's so cool to see how this little podcast has evolved, all the different people we've met, all the different friendships we've made. It's amazing.
Yep. So we'll be back next week with more Disneyland news and information.
Until then, go out and enjoy the parks. Happy New Year.
Hello, I am Baymax, your personal podcast companion. On a scale of 1 to 10, how would you rate this episode? My scans indicate you have been a good weekly tier. Have a lollipop. Now excuse me while I let out some air. Goodbye.
Did you know Microsoft has officially ended support for Windows 10? Upgrade to Windows 11 with an LG Gram laptop. Voted PC Mag's Reader's Choice Top Laptop Brand for 2025. Thin and ultra lightweight, the LG Gram keeps you productive anywhere. And Windows 11 gives you access to free security updates and ongoing feature upgrades. Visit lgusa.com/iHeart for great seasonal savings on LG Gram laptops with Windows 11. PC Mag Reader's Choice used with permission. All rights reserved.
If you like the show, please take a moment to rate, review, and subscribe. It really does help the show to grow. Thank you for listening. Happy holidays! Want to give your host a gift? Consider subscribing, rating, and reviewing the show this holiday season. It really helps the show grow. From all of us at Believe, have a Merry Christmas, everyone, and a Happy Holiday.